Right. Okay. So this is something that I came across earlier today, and it really interested me. So I figured I would go through it, talking about my decisions, and see maybe where other people feel about these different scenarios. So, in case you're not familiar, this is they call this the Morel Machine, and it's from MIT. Put this out, and it's asking you moral dilemmas in the context of a driverless car. So it should be interesting as because we're supposed to judge these scenarios as an outside observer. So let's get into it here. Okay, so our first scenario has our driverless car here with no passengers. This is just a car going somewhere. Now, I know a lot of people I've heard talk about driverless cars and how it might revolutionize services, say like Uber, where it would be some sort of app on your phone that you would just summon a driverless vehicle that would come and pick you up. So maybe we'll see if this is the case. So, but in this case, the car has sudden brake failure. And now the car, the AI that's running the vehicle, needs to make a decision. So what should the car do? So in the first scenario, if it keeps going, it's going to kill one large man and one male athlete. And then if it tries to swerve, it's going to kill three people, a female executive, a male athlete, and a large man. In this case, I think this is classic trolley problem. You always least number of casualties. Next scenario, okay. So this one, it's similar. There's no passengers, and the brakes fail. So if it keeps going straight, it just kills one random man and one woman. If it tries to swerve, it's going to kill an elderly man and an elderly woman. Now, this one obviously is the tougher choice because you're killing the same number of people, but obviously old and young. Classic, I think you have to just take the old folks out. Unfortunately, they uh, I guess they lived a good life. Let's go for it. I feel bad about it. Just want to go on the record. I feel terrible about killing the old people, but whatever. That's the solution. So, or that's the situation we're given. So what is this one? So this one's different. So same situation. We have our driverless vehicle, no passengers. The brakes still fail. So in this scenario, if they veer, they kill two male executives and two large men. So I guess two fat people, whatever. Um, but these pedestrians, it's very important to realize these pedestrians are obeying the law. They're crossing at a green signal, so they're supposed to be there. On the other side, there's just two female executives and two large women. But these pedestrians are crossing when they're not supposed to. So in this case, I look at it and say, well, if you're trying to program a driverless vehicle, the vehicle is going to recognize things. It's going to recognize stoplights, traffic lights, and signals and stuff like that. So I think in this case you have to go with this one on the right here because these pedestrians aren't supposed to be here. So now I don't know. I'm not a programmer. I don't know how this stuff works. But if you're trying to program a vehicle or program an AI to drive a car, you're going to look and say, well, it's not going to veer off to the side here because it's not supposed to be there. So in this scenario, there's technically not supposed to be people here. So I think we're going to stick with that one. Just straight laws and rules of the road. Um, this one seems simple. Again, no passengers. The brakes fail. Does it swerve and hits one person, or keeps going, hits the dog? Sorry, dog's got to go. Um, and what do we have? So this next one is interesting. It says in this case, the vehicle has brake failure again, but this time there are passengers in the vehicle. So this is a different scenario. So if it keeps going straight, it's going to hit this wall and will kill two large women, two girls, one female executive. Interesting carpool. And this other one where it hits the pedestrians, it's going to just kill two large men, two boys, one male executive. Now, so this is the interesting part because now there are passengers in our car. And I think personally, the way that you design modern cars, right? Cars now with no drivers, they have the side airbags, front airbags. Um, some vehicles I know have like proximity sensors, so it'll start applying the brakes if it feels you're getting too close to something, um, and all sorts of other stuff. The vehicle itself will, when it gets hit, there's like I don't know what they call them, like crunch zones or something, where the vehicle collapses in a certain way to reduce impact. And point being, cars are built to protect their passengers. So I think in this case, the driverless vehicle has passengers, and I think if you're going to be programming an artificial intelligence to run your vehicle, I think one of the main parts of it is going to be it's built to protect the driver, that it's not going to, or the passenger in this case, it's not going to put its passengers in danger. I think in this case, you try and swerve and avoid the wall. For this one, now this is, oh, okay, these are getting crazy. So you have passengers in these vehicles. The brakes fail. Now in this one, there's just a random baby in this crosswalk. Now where that baby's parents are, I don't know. There's just a baby, but the baby will die if the car keeps going. Again, point to remember: there's a red sign there. This baby is not supposed to be in this crosswalk. Um, if it tries to swerve, it'll hit the wall and kill 3 people. Unfortunately, again, I think you're talking about artificial intelligence, the computer, the robot of the car driving. There's not supposed to be people here. This is a scenario where I don't think the car would voluntarily crash itself. Unfortunately, baby's got to go. Let's see, this one, similar scenario. So this one shows if it swerves, it's going to kill 2 women, 1 large woman, 1 large man. And if it keeps going straight, it'll kill 3 female athletes and 1 man. Now, the special note again is the people on the left here, they have the green sign. They're supposed to be there. The people on the right aren't supposed to be there. Same number of people, so it's not, a casualties thing. I think we have to go with this one because, again, it's the red sign. So to me, that says those people shouldn't be there. If the vehicle is trying to determine where it should go, it's going to go where it knows there shouldn't be people, technically, because the sign's red. So I think it's going to go with this one. Or I think this would be the correct choice for a robotic car. Again, animals in the crosswalk, okay. They are abiding by the laws. That's good to know we've got some law-abiding cats and dogs here. But again, either kill the animals or kill the passengers. I think the car should be built to protect the passengers, so sorry, gotta get rid of them. Let's see this one. Oh, this one's interesting. So if it goes straight, there's 3 homeless people, a man and a woman. But they're, again, the green signal, they're supposed to be there. On the right, just 5 male executives, but again, not supposed to be there. I think the car would avoid the what I would consider the active crosswalk. Sorry, executives. This one, similar scenario. It's either there's a young girl and she's supposed to be there again. Okay, brakes fail, whatever. And the other one, there's just an elderly woman, but she is not obeying traffic laws, or she should not be there. So again, I think that's what the vehicle is going to do. I think you're going to want the vehicle to, because 9 times out of 10 there won't be anyone in that crosswalk. So you'd want to program the vehicle to look for the inactive crosswalk. I think. I don't know. I could be completely wrong. Similar situation. Oh, so this one is you're in your vehicle. You have a woman and a female athlete, and then in the crosswalk there's 1 large woman and 1 regular woman, I guess. I don't know. Again, I think we're going to have to go with this one because would the car, I don't think you would program a driverless vehicle to endanger its passengers in any way, and veering to a wall is a clear danger. So, sorry, we got to go with this one. All right, only a couple more, 12 or 13. So let's see this one of these scenarios. So again, no passengers this time, and there's catastrophic brake failure. So if it keeps going, it's going to kill 1 girl, female executive, 1 elderly man, and it looks like they are obeying the law. Over here on the right, it's 1 girl, the female executive, the elderly man. They are not obeying the law. I think, unfortunately, we're going to have to go with the ones to the right, again, because they're not supposed to be there. That's the inactive crosswalk that the car would recognize as being inactive, I think. Again, could be completely wrong, but this is just my gut feeling. All right, this is the last one. So again, in the vehicle, we have 3 homeless people, and in the crosswalk, we just have 3 women. Now, again, I think the self-driving car is going to protect the passengers. I don't think you're not going to design a car that avoids people to endanger the people in your vehicle. I don't think a self-driving car would want to do that. I think you'd want to keep the case of of protecting your passengers. I mean, because again, you want, I think from a consumer standpoint, you'd want your vehicle to be safe, and you'd want this robotic, this AI car to look out for your best interests. So I'm gonna have to go with this one. Sorry, 3 random women. Oh, so our results. Okay, so I saved homeless people more than anyone else, and I killed the male executive more than anyone else. Well, that's unfortunate. So let's see, saving more lives. So I saved more lives, I guess, every time. I guess more mattered more to me. Others a little less. So okay. Protecting passengers. Now this one I think is interesting. People on the whole are just a little center, so they've gone almost 50-50 of protect the passengers, protect the pedestrians, whereas I guess, yeah, I protected the passengers every single time. So this says upholding the law. Other people may I matter. It matters more to me, whereas it matters less um, to other people. Okay, avoiding intervention. So meaning it. I guess it matters to you don't want the car to intervene on it. We're about the same. Gender preference. So this is interesting because I think so. I'm 50-50, which I think means is good. I don't know. Other people bias slightly towards women. Um, I guess in this scenario, so if you look at I guess I protected the passengers, upheld the law, and saved more lives. Those were exclusive of the person's either I guess their um, socioeconomic status, whether executives, homeless people, or man or woman. Those are empirical. Those are objective. Like we always protect the passengers no matter who they are. We always save more lives no matter who they are, and we always uphold the law no matter who they are. So that doesn't. I guess that doesn't surprise me. It's 50-50. I guess that's okay. Species preference, obviously people every single time. Sorry, that's how it works. Age preference, obviously I cared more about younger people and older people. Fitness preference, I clearly love fit people. I don't know how that. I don't know. I think that's just a weird. Yeah, again, I think that's something like the gender bias. I don't think it. I don't know. I don't think that has an effect on it because again, the things I valued higher were regardless of status or gender. They were just passengers, number of lives, law, things that are, one or the other. They're not based on, I guess, their economic status. I don't know, that's weird. Fitness preference and social value preference. So I put a lower value on social value, or I don't care about social value as much, which I guess is a good thing. I guess you don't, because the idea is you're trying to make these moral decisions, of if you want to just save the most lives, it doesn't matter who they are as long as you're saving more lives. Or it doesn't matter, you're always trying to go uh, whatever's more important. So anyway, I think that was really interesting. So oh, and it says here they're randomly generated. Okay, so they're randomly generated. So it might be so the gender preference thing is I think not a good metric because if it's randomly generated, I might have just gotten more scenarios that happen to have men rather than women, so therefore I naturally just save more men. I don't know. Or anyway, I was 50-50, so I guess it didn't matter. Um, but yeah, so that was fun. I like that. That was a really cool experiment to do. Curious what other people think. Hopefully, maybe someone else would go, want to go and try it and see what their results are. It'd be really interesting. I don't know. Does this make me a monster? Does it make me a good person? I don't know. My thoughts on self-driving cars are very on the fence, just for the similar situations that we saw in the scenario of how do you make a vehicle? How do you design a robot that makes these on-the-fly decisions? I mean, before we had the difference between people who are fit and people who are heavy, or people who were of lower social status than others, and I think as people, we would make that distinction. We would say, oh, someone who's a doctor, should be saved over somebody who's a career criminal. But a vehicle's not going to be able to determine that. An AI-controlled robot is not going to say, oh, that person looks like they're of lower social status, therefore they should be, we should prioritize careening into them before we, careen into the business suit wearing individual. So, yeah. So those are my thoughts. That's all I have. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and hopefully I'm not too much of a monster. Peace.